applicants have wait until the second case.
Okay. All right, we can do that. I think we are live now.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
All right, thank you. All right, good evening, everyone. We'd like to welcome you to the October 6, 2020 Planning Commission meeting. The Planning Commission is the recommending body to the City Council on applicant that wish to do business in the city of Stonecrest. The Planning Commission five voting members who will vote on to whether recommend approval or recommend denial of an application. Once the person goes through this process, they still have to go to the City Council for the actual application to be recommended for approval or denial by the City Council. The presiding officer will call cases on the agenda for public hearing. First, the presiding officer shall recognize the community development staff, the planning development staff, and the planning development staff will present applicants who have applied for tonight to be on the agenda. They will read over their application and give their recommendations. And the applicants themselves will have a chance to speak. All applicants are given 10 minutes to give their presentation. And then afterwards, any opponents can give any rebuttal for 10 minutes. However, we ask that if you have a large group of people, that you probably have one spokesperson, so the 10-minute time won't be eaten up as fast. The applicant will have time for rebuttal, and opponents of the application will not have time for rebuttal. Any member of the hearing body, once recognized by the presiding officer, can ask questions of the applicant or the opponent or of staff. The city is not obligated to give the full 10-minute period to opponents, but if we do elect to do so, please be conscious of the time. We ask everyone be respectful of others. And since we are doing this virtual, we ask if you're not speaking to please mute your phones because we don't want to see your picture pop up and an applicant is speaking. At this time, I want to go ahead and do the roll call of the commissioners present. For District 1, we have Mr. J.W. Eady.
Present.
District 2, Commissioner Joyce Walker. District 3 is Eric Hubbard, present. District 4, Commissioner Pearl Hollis.
Present.
And District 5, Commissioner Lisa Wright.
Present.
All right. With us having a full slate of our commissioners, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to ask, is there a motion to approve the minutes of the special call meetings from September 16, 2020?
I make the motion to approve the minutes from the September 16th special call planning meeting.
Okay, it's been a motion by Commissioner Wright, second by Commissioner Eady. All vote in favor of approving the minutes, votes by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the minutes stand approved, unanimous. Being that there is no old business, we're going to go into our new business with our public hearing. The first item up, Mr. Wheeler, is RZ 20-005, Parkland Communities, Inc. And I believe they have a letter of withdrawal. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that is correct. They submitted to staff maybe around 3 o'clock, and we sent out to the commissioners to let them know the applicant intends to ask for a formal withdrawal of their application. Since that we've already advertised the application, we still have to hold a public hearing for the applicant. But again, the applicant is requesting a withdrawal of their application. So staff will not do a presentation, but will read comments they received from the public regarding their application. Ms. Lillian will read the ones that she received, and then I will read the ones that I received afterwards. I don't believe we have anybody in attendance for the application, but you can still ask for those who are in for the application, and then for those who are against it, we will read into the record. If we do run out of time, we will put the comments that we did not get to in the city council packet, so they officially can be read by the city council. Tiana, is there anybody there to speak for the application?
No.
Okay, so Commissioner, you can still open up the public hearing, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wheeler. All right, we're gonna open up the public hearing on RZ 20-005. The applicant has asked for a formal withdrawal of their application for tonight. Mr.
Yeah,
Wheeler,
okay, you have to, they're gonna call it. Yes.
hold on, can you mute
Mute yourself, Tiana.
yourself, please? Thank you. Being that the applicant has asked for a withdrawal, there's not going to be a hearing on their application, but we do have persons who are here who have stated their beliefs for being against the application. We want to give them a chance to speak so we can have that into record. So at this time, Mr. Wheeler, being that there are none in favor, let's hear any opponents of the application that would like to speak. Or if you would like to read their comments, that's fine.
Okay. Ms. Lynn, you may proceed. You're on mute, Ms. Lynn.
He's muted.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm here now.
Okay, the first comment is from Iris Buchanan Perry. She's from the Parkland community. She says there are global reasons. The first one being safety. The fire department on Evan Mills uses Rock Spring Road access to provide safety to surrounding areas. A roundabout would not provide safe access or ease of travel for the fire department or emergency vehicle. What accommodation are outlined for the ease of travel for emergency vehicles? Due to the need for easy travel, speed bumps to deter accident on Rock Spring Road have been denied. Increasing the density increases the risk of heightening crime. Low response time from law enforcement. No sidewalks on Rock Spring Road, Evan Mills Road, or the surrounding streets, and inadequate sidewalks on Panolia Road. Resources, limited and unreliable internet access, frequent interruptions of power for the area in total, inadequate roads to accommodate the present number of cars. Panolia Road and Evan Mill roads are already overpopulated. Inadequate school space, overcrowding of classrooms will have a negative effect on learning for the area children. Limited grocery stores, 2 grocery stores in the immediate area. Poor selection of healthy foods. Overbalance of fast foods. Limited other shopping areas. Stonecrest Mall was never adequate for the shopping behavior of the residents. Stonecrest Mall has an increase in loss of anchored stores despite other malls' prosperity. Undeveloped green space. To use the walking path requires travel by vehicles to walk or run. The closest entrance to the walking trail, Evan Mill, has inadequate parking and cars are already parking on the grassy areas. No sit-down restaurants prior to COVID-19. No additional resources will be provided to this area for 10 years, 2030. The present census will not include resident of 347 homes, average being 694 by 2 per household. Millennium living. They refer to rent and not purchase. Washington Post 2019. Not an area where they live, work, play. Public transportation is inadequate. The model rail is non-existent. Ends at Indian Creek Station, 7.5 miles away. Will increase the number of cars on the roads. Bus service is not easily accessible, 2 miles in either directions from Rock Spring Road. Other construction, Farrington Farms on Rock Spring Road already has townhomes. This project has not been completed and the occupancy is rate 30% over 10 years. This project will change the topographics of the area. Townhomes and smaller homes will not be able to accommodate the number of vehicles per household. Therefore, cars will be parked outside of the resident on the street. Street parking can be a safety hazard depending on the number of cars and the width of the streets. Cars on the street will be unsightly. Crowded streets parking can discourage other residents to occupy their homes. Unoccupied homes also increases the possibility of crime and unauthorized squattings. Townhomes and smaller homes encourages renter without commitment to the area. This project encourages investors to rent out, and they will also not have an investment and commitment to the area. Changing the topographic as outlined will negatively impact the home's value, which are already devalued. Mandatory home association fees will not be able to be enforced. Specific for Rock Spring Road, traffic is already heightened on Rock Spring Road. Over 30 years, despite the posted speed limit, 2 to 3 accidents occur annually. Property damage 2 to 3 times each year have occurred to the present resident. Deaths due to speeding and the number of cars have occurred on Rock Spring Road. No left turn will not and cannot be enforced. Suggestion: spend the $1 million outlined to providing a roundabout on Rock Spring Road on improving the present infrastructure by increasing the resources needed to be accommodated the new resident. Keep the area as R100. This will not change the topographic of the present community. Fewer residents and therefore fewer numbers of vehicles. Larger residencies adds more potential to have car parked in their garages. No street parking. Maintain the beauty of the area. The second comment from Justine Jones. She's a homeowner in Hillville Commons. She's totally against allowing a.
Ms. Mizzle,
Oh,
that's the wrong
that's it.
one.
Okay, that was it. That's the only comment I had.
Okay, so there is 3 minutes and 51 seconds left, Commissioner, and I have probably maybe like 10 comments. No, I probably won't get through all of them because they're all kind of extensive. Would you like to extend, or would you like me for just to run out the clock and then pass those comments on to the City Council, since the applicant has asked for a withdrawal?
Yes, that'll be fine, Mr. Wheeler. We'll
Okay.
just read and let the time.
Okay. All right. I will go ahead and start with this one. Excuse me. Okay. This one is from Mr. Curtis and Gail Dickerson. We want to contact you to express our concerns about the application of rezoning property located at 6251 Rock Springs Road and 3810 Evans Mill Road, Lithonia, Georgia, or I'm sorry, Stonecrest, Georgia, from R100. A similar proposal was made previously around February 2015, prior to the area becoming a city. We opposed it at that time, and now we are renewing that opposition. We, as many of our neighbors, are concerned that if this rezoning is approved, it would not be in the best interest of the current homeowners in the surrounding area. It would have a negative impact. Our belief is that not only will it allow for increased traffic on the road, Rock Springs, this is not compatible, that is not capable of handling such an increase, but will also contribute to the decline in the value of homes, which our community has taken pride in maintaining and enhancing over many years. It is believed that the surrounding neighborhoods are comprised of a large number of retirees who have spent their lives working hard and investing in the upkeep of their homes and the surrounding community in which to have a desirable place to enjoy their retirements. This year makes 28 years since we've been in our current home and 34 years in the immediate area. We kindly request that you do not grant the request for rezoning. Our community is strong in opposition of this requested rezoning. Sincerely, Gail Dickerson. The next comment I have is from Mr. I'm sorry, no, excuse me. That one. The next one I had is from Mr. Clyde and Pat Jones. We are neighbors, Pat and Clyde Jones. We live along Rock Springs Road in Hunters Run 2. The property requested to be rezoned is within our truly exceptional neighborhood. The character of our neighborhood is old growth wooded forest with beautiful homes where wildlife abounds. It is a low density, quite safe, peaceful, and prosperous. Our objection to the Parkland community's rezoning request is not keeping with the character of our neighborhood. If rezone is approved, population density would dramatically increase, resulting in 3 times more homes being built than under the existing zoning law. This raises serious environmental and infrastructure issues. Our community will continue to grow in popularity. With that demand, our property values will increase, and also our opportunity for land development with current zoning. We urge you to decline this rezoning. This is from Mr. Jim and Audrey Birch. We want to add our concern to the many objections you have probably already received regarding the application for rezoning property located at 6251 Rock Springs Road, 3810 Evans Mill Road, Lithonia, Stonecrest, Georgia, from R100 to R75. We previously opposed a similar request that was made around 2015, and again, we opposed to this rezoning. Our home is adjacent to the property in question and feel that it would negatively impact the value that we have obtained. To get an idea of what to expect, all of you have to do is look at the homes that are being constructed at the end of Evans Mill Road and Browns Mill Road. The builder previously built decent sized homes in 2 adjacent neighborhoods, but is now building much smaller homes on much smaller lots. We do not want this for our neighborhood. We kindly request that you not grant the request for rezoning. Mr. Jim and Ms. Audrey Bunch, Spring Lake Subdivision. And I am out of time right now, so I will forward the rest of the comments on to the Mayor and City Council during the packet.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Wheeler, and thank you, Ms. Lowe. The next applicant we have is for the RZ 20-004.
Mr. Commissioner, are we going? The commission still needs to vote on granting the withdrawal from the applicant.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion that we grant the withdrawal of the application of Parkland Communities.
I second it.
It's been moved and properly second. Commissioners, if we can go ahead and vote on this. All in favor, if you unmute your phones, unmute your screens. All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Let the record reflect it was unanimous to grant the withdrawal of the application. Mr. Wheeler, you can go into the next applicant, RZ 20-004.
Yes, sir. If give me 1 second, I guess I need to share my screen.
Okay.
Can everybody see that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the second case that is brought to you this evening is RZ 20-004. Subject property is 2654 DeKalb Medical Parkway, Stonecrest, Georgia. The applicant is Presswick Companies, represented by Mr. Edric Harris. The applicant is requesting to rezone the subject property from M, light industrial, to HR, high density residential, and the future land use character area from office professional to neighborhood center for existing senior housing development. Just before I move on, this property is already been developed for senior housing. The housing development is Brightstone development. It's already existing. It's been reviewed and approved by the city of Stonecrest back in 2017. The applicant was located in the Stonecrest overlay. In that overlay, the applicant could construct a senior housing even in a light industrial character, light industrial district. Once the city council updated the Stonecrest zoning map, the applicant was taken out of the Stonecrest overlay tier 2 and was placed in what we call is the Stonecrest overlay viewshed, where the viewshed is governed by your base zoning. So therefore, the applicant is now what we consider to be a legal non-conforming use with the current zoning classification of light industrial. So the applicant has decided that it'd be prudent for them to apply for a rezoning so that they may be in compliance with the Stonecrest zoning ordinance. So I will go through the following information and criteria to kind of even flesh out even more. Again, the current zoning for the subject property is light industrial. The future land use character area for this area is office professional. The policies for office professional is focused on high density residential development along major transportation corridors and areas which alternate transportation options are. The surrounding uses are residential and institutional. The surrounding zoning is MR1, medium density residential, and light industrial. Oh, also, I meant to as well to explain that the future land use character area for the subject property is office professional. Office professional does not allow for the current density to operate at this current zoning. So therefore, it's important for the applicant to ask for two different zoning classification change. One, again, is to change the current zoning and then change the future land use current zoning as well to be in compliance with the Stonecrest comprehensive plan and the surrounding area. And again, the property has maintained its original zoning classification of being light industrial. Again, it was located in the Stonecrest Overlay District Tier 2. That property, well, again, the property was no longer in Tier 2 once the city updated the Stonecrest zoning on the Stonecrest Overlay District and was placed in the Stonecrest viewshed. Again, the viewshed tier is governed by your base zoning, not District 3, District 2, or District 4. Again, your base zoning, wherever your base zoning is, that's what you're governed by. So again, the applicant is trying to change their zoning so they can be in compliance with the Stonecrest zoning ordinance. Again, this is just a zoning map to show you indicate that the property is still zoned light industrial. This is the future land use map showing the property is zoned office professional. This is conceptual. This is the conceptual plan, but this is the site plan which the applicant submitted to you. This is what they submitted to the city back in 2017. This was actually that was been built. That's actually being constructed. That's actually out there right now. This is just the proposed elevations which they submitted to staff at the time. Again, this is what they built out there right now, and I believe they are, I think, all the way full as well. I think so. And I apologize. I thought I had a actual picture of it, of the actual building itself, but I apologize. I think I may have it in another slide so you can see. These are the standards of review which you'll be using to make your decision by. Again, they're asking for two different rezonings. One is for land use and one is for the actual zoning. Again, the standards of review for land use and zoning are very similar. In the spirit of trying to be efficient in time, staff went and did review it and decided to make one staff report and combine everything together. And we'll point out anything that's different or anything that's critical that should be brought to the commissioner's attention. Again, this is the standard review for zoning for you to take into consideration. This is a zoning. One of the criteria is the zoning review permit a use that's suitable in use of the development. Again, this is what, as you see, the star where the actual where the applicant is located. The picture to your left is the actual building to show that it's actually been built and is being currently used as a senior housing complex. Located to north of the subject property is the Bella Vista Apartments. Located to the south of the subject property is the Hillvale, not Hillvale, I'm sorry, is the Hillendale Medical Clinic. Again, what's not pictured is Miller Grove High School and also the Somerset condominiums. Again, since the applicant is already existing in the area, staff still believes that the change in zoning will be very suitable of the use and of the surrounding development. Conforming with the policy of the comp plan. Again, since the applicant is asking a change in the land use and with that, with the change and with the actual current use of the subject property, staff believes the use and the intended change will be keeping with the policy and the intent of the comprehensive plan. Sorry, tongue tied on that one. Because again, the subject property would be located in the neighborhood center, which would complement the office professional and office institutional in the surrounding uses, as well as the urban neighborhood. Reasonable economic use. Currently, as reasonable economic use, the subject property would not, because again, the property is zoned light industrial. Again, the property is surrounded by residential and environment and office institutional uses. So therefore, keeping a zoning of light industrial would render the subject property would have no any economic valuability to it. So therefore, staff believes that you should change the zoning for the subject property. There's no adversely any environmental or historical sites on the subject property. Again, the conditions for giving approval. Again, staff believes that the subject property is already being used for senior housing. So that's, I believe, is a condition for approval of the rezoning and the future land use change. Will the proposed use or land use affect the existing use or usability of nearby properties? Staff believe it will not. Again, will this subject property cause excess use of streets, transportation, utilities, and schools? Again, the subject property has already been developed. It will not cause any excess use of streets, transportation, utilities, and schools. So therefore, staff recommends approval of RZ 20-004, the future land use change and the zoning change. Mr. Edric Harris is here to present. Does commissioners have questions of staff?
Commissioners, any questions of staff?
No questions.
Question.
Okay, who had a question first? I'm sorry. Was Commissioner Wright and then Commissioner Walker?
No question.
No question?
I said no question.
No question? Okay. All right, being that there's no questions of the commission for staff, let's hear from the applicant, please.
Hey, good evening. This is Edric Harris with Crestwood Development Company. Thanks, Mr. Wheeler, for the presentation, and good evening, Mr. Chair and commissioners. So again, as Mr. Wheeler stated, we are just here really to clean up the zoning, if you will. We're in operation. We're actually currently 98% occupied. Happy to be a part of the neighborhood and the community. So with this, it just allows us to kind of continue to operate as a legal use. So it's really important for us as we move forward. You know, there are options at times that either from a refinancing or certain things we may need to do to improve the property that would be difficult, as even with insurance. You know, if the insurance looks at us and they say, well, if if something was to happen to the structure, we can't legally rebuild it or repair it, up to certain points. So it's just really important and critical for us to make sure that we're in compliance. And again, happy to be here, happy to answer any questions, and we'll hope you would approve and support the request.
All right, thank you, sir. Commissioners, do we have any questions of Mr. Harris?
No questions.
No question.
Okay,
No question.
all right. Thank you, commissioners. Thank you, Mr. Harris. Being that there are no questions, before I move on to any opposition, is there anybody else who would like to speak in favor of the applicant? Being that there are none, we'll go to any opponents. Are there any opposition?
There's no one here.
Okay, all right, thank you. Being that there are no opposition and we've heard from the applicant, I'm going to go ahead and close this part of the public hearing on the RZ 20-004, and we can go into discussion with commissioners. Commissioners, discussion.
I'm okay with approving.
I make a motion that it be approved.
All right, quick second.
Commissioner,
We're
if I
gonna
may,
do
we-
two separate motions
There you go.
because of the usage. So can I get, Ms. Didi, you want to make a motion that we approve the land use first and we'll
Yeah.
vote on that?
Yes,
Okay, all right, it's been moved that we approve for land use for the application as stated. All in favor, vote by saying aye.
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 I'll let it show that it's unanimous, 5 for approval. All right, the second is for a motion for the actual zoning for future use. Who would like to make that motion?
I would like to make that motion. I make a motion that we approve the future zoning use of this project.
I
Second,
second that motion.
all right, it's been moved and properly second that we approve the actual, for future use of this applicant. All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Let the record reflect it's unanimous that we voted for approval. Thank you, commissioners, and congratulations, Mr. Harris, and thank you for your development over there off the Cab Medical Parkway.
Thank you so much for your support.
Yes, sir. Hey, Mr. Wheeler, we're ready for the SLUP 20-005.
Mr. Chairman, before we continue, may I have the person who's second land use?
That would be Commissioner Joyce Walker.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Okay, Mr. Wheeler.
Okay, can anybody see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Third case brought to you this evening is SLUP 20-005. Subject property is 2381 Hillvale Cove Drive. The applicant is Ms. Tamika Turner. The applicant is requesting a special land use permit for the operation of a personal care home for 3 individuals. The general information for the subject property is small lot residential mix. The future land use for the area is residential. The policy for this area emphasizes protect stable neighborhoods from incompatible developments that alter established single-family residential development patterns and density. The surrounding uses are residential. The surrounding zoning is RSM district. This is the aerial map outlined in blue is the subject property. Again, the subject property is located in Hillvale Commons subdivision. Again, subject property is zone RSM, and the surrounding property in this subdivision is zone RSM as well. This is a site plan showing the submitted by the applicant. The applicant staff has reviewed the initial site plan, and the applicant is the site plan, or I should say site plan, but the home itself it meets supplemental regulations as far as being big enough for the personal care home. This is the floor plan submitted by the applicant, indicating where which areas will be used for the bedrooms of the personal care home. This is the front elevation of the subject property. And again, the applicant has indicated that there will be no exterior changes as mandated by the Stonecrest zoning ordinance. It will appear to be as a single family home. There will be no outside marking or signage to indicate that the subject property will be a personal care home. These are the standards of review which you'll be making your decision by. Again, there are 26 criteria for you to review. Staff has reviewed every one of them, and therefore staff believes that the applicant has met all the criteria, and so therefore staff recommends approval SLUP 20-006 with the following 7 conditions. Does anybody have any questions of staff?
Commissioners, any questions of the staff?
no question.
I have questions.
Okay, Commissioner Wright.
Good evening, everyone. For letter S, where it says proposed use will result in a disproportionate proliferation of that or similar uses in the subject character area. My question for you, Mr. Wheeler, is how did you decide that it would not result in excessive proliferation? Because when I think of the history of just the applications that have been presented before the commission, it seems like there's a big percentage of personal care homes. I know in the past people have stated on various occasions about the number of personal care homes that whether regulated by the city of Stonecrest or not, that existed. So my question is, how do you determine that, how do you decide that it's not proliferation? Are you saying that if it's just one in a subdivision, then that's fine and it's okay? Or how, so I just had a question about S, and that same question I referred to on your condition T.
Yes, ma'am. So there's a condition in the Stonecrest zoning orders where a personal care home cannot operate within 1,000 feet of another personal care home. Again, the idea with that is to stop proliferation of personal care homes. That's just kind of what their standard, what we have on the books as far as personal care homes. So that's just your baseline. That's what staff's baseline for determining if there's going to be a proliferation of other personal care homes in the area. Also, we do take into consideration if there are other personal care homes in the subdivision. So basically, there's two criteria. If they meet the minimum distance requirement of being 1,000 feet of another personal care home, and as well if there are any other personal care homes within a subdivision or within the immediate area. The way we determine that is basically going by the state's official guidelines. If you are officially approved by the state, your license will pop up on their map. So staff goes by that map, which the state has indicated they update regularly because they do inspections and things of that nature. So when we get a personal care home application into the city, we automatically just go to the state's website to determine if there are any other personal care homes located within the area. Again, we mention it to applicants ahead of time, says, before we proceed with your application, we do a check just to see if there's any personal care homes located within the area, because if you're not within, if you don't meet the minimum guideline of being within 1,000 feet, you can't be approved because that's against the zoning ordinance. If there are other personal care homes located within the area, again, you still meet the threats, you still meet that minimum distance requirement, but it may be determined if it could be a proliferation of personal care homes in the area. You would just have to you would have to do some further analysis staff would do further analysis of that, as well as giving that information to the commission as well as city council to determine if they believe there's a proliferation of personal care homes in the subdivision. But that's how we determine based off that. If there's no any other personal care homes in the area, then technically there's no proliferation of a personal care home. I understand that we get that staff and city council and planning commission gets a lot of personal care home applications, but the issue is, I would believe, I think there's two main issues. One, there appears to be that there's a proliferation of personal care homes in our neighborhood, and in our community, which may be true. There's some that may not be licensed and they don't appear on the state's website. So there's really that's a lot planning and staff can do about that, because again, we don't know where they're located. It would be unfair to staff to penalize applicants who are coming doing the right way, to say, oh, well, there's a bunch of them in there, but I have nothing to indicate where they are located. We've been trying to deal with that. As you know, we've been trying to get a hold of how many personal care homes are located in the city. The issue is, again, when the state updates it, some that may appear, they're no longer there. So again, it's ever changing as well. The other thing as well is, I think the issue is that the city of Stonecrest is a huge city land-wise. So we have large swaths of land where it may seem like our population is small, but we just have large lots of land. So it may seem like there's a huge population of personal care homes, but they're spread out among everybody. The last total personal care homes that I calculated for 55,000 people, could be more now with the population, was a total of I think 30 personal care homes. Again, we're still, and those are the ones that we've determined that we're actually in the city because they go by zip code. Unfortunately, we do share zip codes with unincorporated DeKalb County, so we had to kind of work backwards to see which ones are actually in the city and which one not out in the city. Previously, I think it was 2018, we sent out flyers and emails to everybody, every person that we knew had personal care homes, that they had to obtain a SLUP from the city of Stonecrest. Many of those flyers came back were incorrect because many of those were in unincorporated DeKalb County. Again, it's an ongoing situation, but I mean that's for a long answer. Those are the criteria which we use. One is the distance and see if there are any existing personal care homes in the subdivision.
Commissioner Hubbard, I'd like to ask a question.
Yes, Commissioner Walker.
Yes, Mr. Wheeler, I want to kind of expound a bit on what Commissioner Lisa just said. We go through this, as you said, a lot when we look at a lot of these personal care homes. Now, this particular one, when my question is, how what did they say in the community meeting? Well, how did the community feel about this? And when you say, I'm not sure I understand, when you say, when this is presented, do you not count or find out or go to the map of the county as to how many of these homes are in this area? Because
Yes,
I mean, how do you know? I mean, when you look at one, how do you know how many of these homes are in this particular area?
Okay, so to answer your second question, so there's a state map which you can find where the state lists all the personal care homes located by zip code. Each of them, or each personal care home who's doing the right way has to be registered by the state.
And how
every
current
year
is this? I mean, I don't want to stop you, but how current is this?
is current as they update it yearly. As far as I know, I only go by their website, and from every indication they update it yearly because every applicant has to update has to resubmit again to get their license yearly. So again, I assume they make it up to date regularly, but there's no indication any other way for the city to know is going by the state. That's the only reason why. That's the only way we'll be able to know exactly who's all in the city. Besides getting phone calls from individuals, from residents who say there's a legal personal care home in the area. But there's no other way the city's going to know without relying on the state for that. Because again, the only reason why they come to the city is because they're trying to get a state license, and the state requires them to have a permit from the city or a business license from the city. We won't get you a business license without them having a permit. So again, if you are operating illegally, then you wouldn't come to us at all. You wouldn't even be on the state website. So again, we wouldn't know, city wouldn't know, and we wouldn't even know how to go about to start doing, I guess, sweeps to figure out who's operating. The only thing we can go by is the state's website, and the state website is up to date. Then that's how we believe it is. We trust them. But if it's not, that's a huge problem. Quite honestly. But our powers are limited to what we can do as far as making the state update their website. All we can do is just say, hey, we rely on your website like any other municipality who relies on the state's website to be updated when it comes to personal care homes. That's the only way we know how to go about doing it. How
many were shown in this
area? There weren't any in this area. There weren't any at all. She's Miss Tamika Turner would be one within maybe 2 miles that I saw on the website. Again, in her subdivision and several other subdivisions, there weren't in the area. Again, we like to check before we actually proceed having the application before you. Again, if there was another one located within you, we would provide that information to you, especially if it's in the subdivision. But again, there's nothing in the subdivision that indicate there's another personal care home legally operating. And again, if it's operating illegally, staff wouldn't know anything about it. Because again, I don't know where they're located. They could be located right next door. They could be located further down. I just don't have that information. The only way I can get that information is from the state. So we're at the state's, mercy when it comes to regulating personal care homes. Again, we're trying to keep track of it when they do renewals, but that's about the only way we can do this.
Thank you.
May I just Yes, another question. You mentioned that you get phone calls in reference to people saying there's a home next door. How does the city, I'm sorry, handle that?
So we'll get a phone call. So code enforcement will receive a phone call saying, hey, there's a personal care home that's operating illegally. Code enforcement will go by, do an inspection, see if they have a valid business license. If they don't have a valid business license, they'll say you need to get a business license, and then they'll go through the process with the city. We'll ask for a state license. If they can't provide a state license, then they won't get a business license. If they can't provide a state license, then they have to come through the process with the city to get a permit. Because one thing we just wanted to see if they have a state license, if they have a permit from the city. At this previously back in 2019, I think we were grandfathering anybody who had a permit from DeKalb County, but that ship has sailed now, so it doesn't really matter if you ever got something approved from DeKalb County. You have to get approved from the city of Stonecrest to operate a personal care home. Point blank period. It doesn't matter if it's 1, 2, 3. If you're operating a personal care home, you have to get a permit from the city to operate. If you do not get a permit, you will be ticketed by code enforcement. And our code enforcement officer Farrell will follow up with the state. He has there's a task force that I believe he's part of that does sweeps in DeKalb County, Rockdale, and I believe Henry County as well. So Officer Farrell is informed on how to do sweeps and checks when it comes to personal care homes.
Would you happen to know how many that we have converted from illegal to legal?
It has not been many. I can tell you that much. It has not been many from my recollection. We probably had several come in, and some they've not come in to apply because most do not want to take the time to go through the process to get one. So again, as far as I know, this may be maybe a handful, and maybe about 2 or 3 or 4. Actually, I only say that maybe about 2 who actually go through the process. Other than that, every person that we've spoken to have always been are new people, or new applicants who come in and talk to City Hall, and they're looking to operate their first personal care home.
Did the applicant notify the neighbors?
Yes, they did have a community meeting. No one showed up for the Zoom meeting, but we still got. I did have a call from the HOA president about that. I'm not too sure if he's here or not, but he did voice his concerns about the application, and I believe he made his way to City Hall to give his opinion on the matter.
Okay. Does the applicant have other personal care homes, or is this her first?
This portion is just for questions to Mr. Wheeler about the applicant.
Okay, thank you.
You can ask that question when the applicant speaks.
And the applicant is here. Ms. Tamika Turner is here to give her a presentation as well.
Thank you, Mr. Wheeler. Are there, commissioners, any more questions for Mr. Wheeler? Being that there are not, let's go ahead and get the applicant, Ms. Turner, to go ahead and give us her presentation.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, hi. So I have to work with 2 screens because one of them, my computer doesn't show my video. So I'm going to want to do my presentation.
Ms. Turner, do you need to share the screen? Okay, there you go.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you can see it.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, so pretty much I am Helping Hands Outreach Program. So I have opened up a personal care home in Hale Valley Cole community. And one of the reasons why I chose the community is a nice, quiet community, mostly elderly people here in the community, which I have spoken to a few people here. They have stopped. We have talked. They've seen the sign, and they're really they're open to it. They see the changes I have made with the home as far as landscaping and just my vision that I have for the home, which is providing care for senior, which we actually have a shortage for that just around Georgia. We have a shortage for that, providing services for our seniors and resources for them. So that's why one of my visions is to open up a personal care home for seniors. And just to go over their care, which is my mission statement, is just to provide medical complex services for our elderly individuals, a nurturing environment. Also, just making sure they have a comfort, a peace of mind, a place to stay in a great community, which, you know, Hillvale is a great community. Also, I do have a permit. So I do have my CLA permit through DCH, which my home was inspected and I did pass my inspection. It is good for health and safety. I have fire extinguishers here just in case any emergencies. Furniture here in the home for our individuals. Just around the house, bathroom accessibility, handicap accessibility throughout the home for my clients. So I do have a license and a permit here, as you can see. And this is the home, which I'm still doing landscaping. So just to show you guys. And this is inside of the home, some of the changes that I made in the home, renovating the home. And as you can see, the personal care home is, like I said, it's for elderly. As you see, it's just two ladies here just having a cup of tea. So, you know, it's nothing where it will bring harm to the neighborhood. You know, these women, they're great women, and also men that we care for who just need services and need a place to stay. Most of them only have their SSI, you know, to provide for their living. So that's where we come in and help. We provide meals, transportation to medical appointments. We also laundry, assistance with laundry, helping them get their medication and things like that. So just wanted to show you the inside of Hillvale and some of the service. We offer rehabilitation, therapy, just a watchful oversight, room and board, and transportation. So just to show you that the home is a safe environment and that it will bring no harm, and it's just to help our community, especially people who need these resources. Any questions?
Commissioners, any question for the applicant?
I have a couple of questions.
Commissioner Wright?
Hello again.
Hi.
My first question is your home currently in operation now?
I have two clients here.
And second
I
question.
also live in the home as well, so it's like a big family. Yes.
And also, do you have experience in running a personal care home? Have you done this?
Yes, I do. I started when I was 15. I'm 35. I started as a caregiver, and I currently help other providers open up personal care homes, CLA homes, day programs, transportation. So this is a passion of mine. This is something that my mother did, my grandmother did, and it was just a passion for me to give back to the community. So yes, I have experience. I also went to nursing school. So not just that, but just how to deal with people. You know, people go through things and they just need somebody who they could trust. So yes, I have plenty of experience over 18 years.
Thank you.
Commissioner Hubbard, I have a quick question.
Yes, ma'am. Commissioner Walker?
Mrs. Turner, thank you for your presentation. I appreciate the PowerPoint. My question is a simple question. What is your address? Is it a Lithonia address or is it a Stonecrest address?
I think it's converting to Stonecrest, but it's still Lithonia. I think it's supposed to be Stonecrest. I'm not sure, but I know whenever I mail it, they are using Lithonia.
Okay, because I did see it. It said, you know, Lithonia, so I didn't know if it was Stonecrest or Lithonia. Just making sure, you know.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'd like to ask one quick question.
Commissioner Edie?
These are conditions. Do you agree on those conditions that it was recommended?
And the conditions, I'm sorry, what the, can we go back over the
The
conditions?
That it said approve it with the 7 conditions.
Yes, and what was the, can we go back over that? Oh, 3 people in the home, yes. Yes, that's fine. I'm okay with the conditions.
I'm saying all of these conditions, that's what I'm asking.
Mhm. Yes, 3 people in
Okay,
homes, no sign. Yeah, because with these homes, we don't want it to have that facility feel. We want it to have a home feeling, like this is their residence. I don't really like to call it a person care home, but it's their home. So yes, I'm fine with all the conditions that you guys, the criteria for approval.
Any other questions, commissioners, of the applicant?
One more question from me, about the homeowner. Is there a homeowners association that expressed concerns? Or am I thinking of a different case?
Commissioner, who are you asking the question to?
I'm asking to Tamika, because I thought that this one of my notes was that the homeowners association has expressed concerns. I was just trying to get more clarity on that.
Yes, I'm not sure. I have, like I said, I've sent out mail postcards to everyone to kind of introduce them to me and just about the personal care home. And I have met a lot of people. People have called my phone. I also left my number with that letter. And I haven't had, as far as directed to me, I haven't had anybody have no concerns. You know, they was just happy about, you know, the vision and me, you know, giving back to the community to open up that home, open up the home to people in need, seniors in need.
Okay.
So I don't know if anybody sent anything to Stonecrest. I'm not sure. I wouldn't know.
All right.
Ms. Tamika Turner has 6 minutes and 29 seconds left.
Yes. And I also have a family member that is online too. So I don't know if she could speak.
Yeah, I mean, you have 6 minutes
Ms.
left.
Lakeisha Nelson, are you?
Ms. Nelson, you can speak now. I do see her online. I don't, if she would like to speak in favor of the applicant, she can do so at this time.
But she's in me and okay. There she
Hi, hello there. Greetings, everyone.
Hello.
I'm Lakeisha S. Nelson. I am the daughter of one of the seniors that currently reside at the residence. And I actually met Miss Turner prior to my mother being released from hospital care. And I was very pleased with the work that Miss Turner had done to the residents, as well as her experience in the field. My mother actually moved into the residence last Thursday, October 1st. And since she's been at the residence, she's been, I would say, very happy. She has a history of just some behavioral, a behavioral disability, and she needs the socialization. She also thrives on being with others. And I just don't have that time to really commit to her because of all of her needs. And that was really my primary reason for allowing her to go into Mrs. Turner's residence and Ms. Turner be a care provider for her. And so far to date, I'm very pleased. I've even spoken with a few of the residents in the subdivision, and I introduced myself, and they seem to be very pleased with the residents, and I didn't see any opposition from any of the residents I've had conversations with. So I'm really truly honored and really blessed in so many ways that Ms. Turner has opened up her her heart to serve the senior community, because mental health services are so limited and funding opportunities are very rare. And to have a place where these two seniors can really go and get the attention that they really need, and it feels like their own home, is truly a blessing for me. And I'm just very excited about Mrs. Turner's vision for her residents, the work that she wants to continue doing to make it even more exciting for the residents, arts and crafts and gardening. I really think that is so important to their self-worth and just giving these seniors a new spark at life, despite whatever condition that they may have. And they are both really tender seniors, so they would not cause any harm to anyone in the subdivision. They just need a little bit of extra care, and Ms. Turner is available to give them that nurturing that they need outside of family. That's all I have to say about Mrs. Turner's residence.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Ms. Nelson?
You're welcome.
All right.
The applicant has 3 minutes and 16 seconds left.
Okay. All right, Ms. Turner, you have 3 minutes left. Would you like to reserve your time? Or
Yes, you can reserve. Mhm,
All right, thank you, Ms. Turner.
mhm.
At this time, do we have any opposition that would like to speak?
I have two that I can read.
It's some people here. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Got two.
Yeah, you go.
Go ahead. I'll state your name.
You
How to speak into this?
You can just talk.
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Adolph Farley Thompson. I am the Vice Chairman of the Hillvale Commons Subdivision. I have also served in the Planning Committee, Zoning Committee under Hank Aaron and Lee Mills for quite a few times. A few years, so I'm accustomed. I know this type of arrangement. I'm in for a shock. The first time I'm seeing, knowing that this is how a planning committee operates. Firstly, I heard Mr. Wheeler said that the applicant met with the zoning committee, met with the residents. I'm the vice chairman. The first time I've seen this information is when I saw the notice put up on this property. So as I see it here, man, you guys, this is running roughshod over on the system. I'm very, very disappointed. But what you come in here to ask us to do is to just rub a stamp on arrangement that you have already made. This, to my mind, is a very bad investment, a very bad approach. Firstly, this place was set up, we've been there for 20 years, as a community residential area, a mixture of young and not so young, and probably now more young than not so young. And we have nurtured that committee, take care of it. People come from abroad and they come and see, they're impressed with what they see. To bring this facility into this arrangement could open the door for the floodgates for everybody. The other part is that this place is situated in the front of the facility, in the front of the subdivision. It is on an intersection between Hillvale Road and Hillvale. So there is no way that you could be able to drive easily back and forth through this arrangement. I think I understand, I appreciate Ms. Turner. I know over the last week or last day, she did put in a lot of things to impress the area, and probably that is good business. But I, and many of my residents in the area, are against this proposal here. And it's strange. I mean, I want to know if it's just a new form of development of Stonecrest to look into these homes, the gas station, and those lofts, storage lofts. I mean, I'm sure we can do much better than this. And then look at the time you've taken to explain. I am very, very disappointed with what I'm hearing, for know that we were not consulted and you guys have gone ahead actually and approved this arrangement. Very disappointed. Thank you.
Okay, are there any other applicants? I mean, opposition?
Yeah, hello. My name is Linda Sullivan and I'm with the HOA for Hillville Commons.
Okay.
Let me piggyback on something somebody said earlier about a Zoom meeting that nobody attend. The invitation came a day after the meeting. Maybe that's why didn't nobody attend. That's how I received mine. And when they posted the sign, we got a lot of feedback. We got feedback from people that live up the street, 2 doors up, 2 doors back, around, and I'm on Hillville Cove Way. And I got a couple of calls before I even came here today. They are not in agreement with this. They're just not happy with it. They're older people also, so I understand about the seniors, but they are not happy with this because the way we just found out about it, you know, and apparently it's already opened up as a business because they already got 2 people in there. So she's doing it even without you all's approval already. So I don't know how that works, but just to say that I understand about helping people. Don't get me wrong, I really do. But the way it kind of just fell on us it's not cool. It's really not. And you should get some feedback on it, emails or whatever from other residents. So I don't know who they've been talking to. I didn't get talked to, but I'm just not feeling it, you know. No offense, but it's just the way it just fell up on us, just like in the last week or 2. That's all I got to say.
Ms. Daniel?
That's it.
Ms. Daniel,
Yes.
will you get their names and address to make sure I properly record that, please?
Yes, ma'am. And that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There
All
is 5 minutes and there's 5 minutes and 10 seconds left for the opposition.
I have 2 opposition here.
Okay, Ms. Lowe.
Okay. This one is from Justine Jones. She's a homeowner in Hillvale Commons, and she's totally against allowing a home care facility in the community. The next one is from, this person lives on Hillvale Cove Drive. She's a homeowner and lived there since July 2003. She bought the home there because she fell in love with this beautiful, quiet, family-oriented community. This is also the reason why she have chosen to stay here for close to 20 years. She and her family have witnessed different ups and downs in the economic that have impacted surrounding communities. However, the residents of Hillvale Commons have managed to keep our community to the highest standards. This has been primarily due to the fact that we value, respect, love our community. It is because of this love that we have been very deliverable in keeping the community a residential one that focuses on single-family homes with no commercial activity. She is fully convinced of the above fact and therefore cannot support the petition SLUP 20005. Approval of this above mentioned petition would open up our residential community to commercial activity. While the petitioner is asking for a maximum of 3 individuals in the home, a personal care home will open traffic to caregivers, service givers, and family members of each of these 3 residents. Personally, I believe that this will exponentially increase traffic of individuals that do not reside in the community. In my mind, she writes, this would open up the opportunity for activities that may not be welcomed by our resident. Not to mention that it will set a precedent for future commercial petition. Miss, she hopes that you can take my opinion into consideration as part of the decision-making process during the council meeting today. If possible, thank you. That's it.
All right, thank you, Ms. Lowe.
I don't have any additional comments submitted to me.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wheeler. Ms. Turner, you do have time left if you'd like to come back and address the concerns of the opposition.
Yes,
Okay.
I do. Yes. I'm sorry that the neighbors did not get the postcards the day of the Zoom. Some did. I don't know if mail service, if that was an issue, but I did leave my phone number for everyone to contact me. So the person who stated she got the letter late, like I said, I left my phone number so there could be some form of communication. Like I said, it's probably 2 people reached out to me via phone. And of course, neighbors, you know, they seen the sign and they stopped by. Or if they see me doing landscaping, trying to, you know, fix the outside, they'll stop by and I'll let them know what's going on. But this is not a facility base. As you can see, there's no signs. The people in the home are people, first and foremost. They are people just like me and you. Whether it's stated as a personal care home or not, there are people who need care, and they're seniors, like the seniors in the neighborhood. And as far as family coming to visit, the families, it's no difference from the people who reside in the neighborhood who family members come to visit them, or their grandchildren comes, or aunties and uncles come and visit. But this is not a commercial based home in this neighborhood, and it will not bring new people, like, you know, just outside people that will bring harm. People who will be in this house is people who need care. So I just want to address that, and just to let them know that this is a good thing.
And
Okay, also, Ms. Turner, there was concern, they stated that you were operating the home already.
I have a permit.
You have a permit from
DCH.
DCH?
Yes, Department of Community Health, which during the PowerPoint, I did show that, and I did submit it to Mr. Wheeler. So this is a legal operated home. I do have a state permit, and the state of Georgia has permitted me to do that. I just have to get a business license.
Okay.
this is
Commissioners, commissioners have any questions? Okay, being that commissioners don't have.
Commissioner Hubbard, I have a question.
Hey, Commissioner Walker.
Okay, now I'm not familiar with all the terms, you know, that's allowing Ms. Turner to operate the Helping Hands. But my question is, if there was no personal care homes in the area, how was she operating? Can you do that just by, it might be a legal question, can you do that just by getting a permit?
You want to address that to council?
Yeah, the council, let me.
Okay, Ms. Hazard, can you answer that question for Commissioner Walker?
Sure. So my understanding is that you need both a permit from the state and a permit from the city to operate. I'm trying to look through the code now. My recollection is that we changed the code so that personal care homes of any number need a city permit. Is that correct, Chris? Yeah, so
That's correct.
she would need both a city permit and a state permit. I think in the past, and when it was unincorporated DeKalb County, I think it was if you had three or fewer, you did not need the local permit. However, that ordinance was changed. So
But how long has it been operating? I mean, because I'm sorry, I didn't ask that to Ms. Turner. How long has it been operating? The facility's been operating?
The two ladies just moved in last week. So it would just be just like a roommate. Because I live in this home. So this is my home. I am the homeowner of this home.
That's what all I had, Commissioner Hubbard.
Okay. Any other commissioners with any other questions? All right, if not, thank you, Ms. Turner. At this time, I'm going to close the public hearing and we're going to go into discussion with the commissioners. All right, commissioners, open for discussion on the application. Any discussion? Commissioner Edie?
No, I have no comments, or I listened to everyone, and as far as with me, I mean, I'd make a motion that we approve it. Because I was listening to everything that was said and so forth, and I heard the people making comments, but they didn't give me any reason why it should not be there. I didn't get any reason. They're keeping our area, but from what I was understanding, it wouldn't be a commercial type situation. And that's the way I feel about it. But
okay, so we have a motion on the floor for approval by Commissioner Edie. Is there a second?
I second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second by Commissioner Hollis that we approve the application. All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, we have 4 commissioners for approval and 1 abstention from Commissioner Walker. So the applicant has been approved for recommendation. 4 to 1. Thank you, Ms. Turner.
Thank you. You guys have a nice evening.
All right, you
Who
too, ma'am.
opposed, Mr. Chairman? Who
No,
opposed?
no opposed. We had 1 abstention from Commissioner Walker.
Okay, thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you. Mr. Wheeler, we're ready for applicant slub 20-006.
Ask one question. Did we approve with
Yes.
conditions?
Yes, when he
Sorry.
asked, she did say she would, she had no problem with the 7 conditions that the city had opposed.
The motion,
Wait,
the motion didn't have a condition. So if you want
right.
to approve with conditions, you'll need to.
Oh, okay. So, Mr. Edie, with your motion to approve, because I know Mr. Edie did ask about the 7 conditions when he spoke to the applicant. So was that motion based off the recommendation of with the commission recommendation?
with the conditions, that's it, you know.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. That's what we thought. We just don't want to assume. So
Do
it
we have to
was.
revote?
Yes, we'll do a revote, Commissioner Wright, that we approve the application with the conditions recommended by the city. All in favor, vote by saying aye.
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 Oppose? Let the record reflect it's still 4 approval with conditions and 1 abstention. Commissioner Walker abstained.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Mr. Wheeler, we're ready for the next and final case.
Yes, the final case for this evening is SLUP-20-006, and the applicant is Judith Goldberg. The subject property is 6763 Hill Creek Cove. The applicant is requesting a special land use permit for the operation of a personal care home for, I'm sorry, this didn't say 3, but for 6 individuals. The subject property is zone R100 residential medium lot. Future land use character area is suburban residential. Policies for this area emphasize protect stable neighborhoods from incompatible development that could alter the established single family residential development patterns and density. The surrounding uses are residential and the surrounding zoning is R100. This is an aerial map of the subject property. Again, the subject property is located in an established single-family residential subdivision. I believe it's Hill Creek. Again, the subject property is zone R100 residential medium lot. This is again the aerial map of the subject property. Again, you can see the property is zone R100. This is a site plan that's submitted by the applicant of the personal care home. The applicant, the site does meet all requirements to be operated as a personal care home set forth by the supplemental regulations set forth by the Stonecrest zoning ordinance. This is the floor plan submitted by the applicant indicating where residents will live if approved if recommended approval by Planning Commission and approval from the City Council.
Hold on, Mr. Wheeler. Can you go? I'm sorry, Mr. Wheeler.
Yeah,
can you go back? Yes, I wanted to hold on that for a moment. I was 1, 3, 4. Because I'm just counting. It's 4 bedrooms.
Yes, sir.
3, 4. Okay, that's what I thought. Thank you.
Okay. Elevation of the subject property. Again, the elevations of the subject property. Again, the subject property will not have any identifying markers on it to indicate that the property is as a personal care home. The use will be treated as a single-family residential home. These are the standards of review, which we'll be making a determination by. Staff has already reviewed each criteria and provided that with you in our staff report. Again, these are the criteria which you'll be using to make your recommendation by. Again, staff has reviewed all criteria and find that the applicant has met all, and so staff does recommend approval of SLUP 20-006. Again, there's a typo in condition number 1, that should be 4 persons instead of 3 persons, but everything else is correct. Any questions of staff?
I have a question. You're saying number 1, is it limit to 3 or is it limit to 4?
It's to 4. Sorry, that was supposed to be 4 instead of 3. I apologize.
Okay. Question also: if there's 4 bedrooms and the owner has to live there, you're just saying one resident would share a room?
Yeah, that was really is more of a line of I think a conversation with Ms. Judith Goldberg. I believe she was looking at doing 4. So again, I know she on application it was 6, but we review it as a single family residence, like a family of 4. So 4 individuals should be staying there. Again, that's just a recommendation. Again, because 4, you would have to get approval from the DeKalb County Fire Marshal to install the sprinklers as well. So you'll have to do some interior modeling. So staff felt that 4 would be a reasonable number in establishing a family residential subdivision.
But my concern is if the owner has to reside on it, it seems like there would be 3 people and then the owner in the bedroom.
I understand. Yeah, I understand. I mean, you can say you want to recommend it for 3, but that was just staff reasoning though.
I think the state guidelines allow them to have 2 people in each room.
Thank you, Counselor. Okay, Mr. Wheeler.
Oh, also, I do want to point this out though. Ms. Goldberg, her application is a little bit different. Is because I don't know if you guys remember this, but there was another applicant who applied for a personal care home in her subdivision as well. Again, Ms. Goldberg wanted to apply for one as well, but staff told her that there was another personal care home located in the area. Staff did check to see if the applicant was licensed, and then if he ever got a permit or a business license from the city. They never did. They never got a business license from the city, nor did they ever get a state license to operate a personal care home. So therefore, Ms. Goldberg could apply to operate her personal care home now, due to the fact that the applicant never applied for their state license nor their business license. Also, it is actually this month that their special land use permit expires as well, because again, you have a total of a year to actually use your permit. If you do not use it by obtaining a business license or a state license or any other required license, it expires, and then you have to go back through the entire process all over again. So Ms. Goldberg has been diligent, and she has now granted the opportunity to apply for personal care home SLUP. So.
Thank you, Mr.
And
Wheeler.
her family is here to give their presentation as well.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any questions of staff?
I just have one question. Mr. Wheeler, I got copies of this SLUP, but you said you have here approved with conditions. I didn't get those conditions, and that's what I wanted to review those conditions, because it didn't come out. It wasn't sent to me.
Okay, we'll send those over to you right shortly, Commissioner Edie, so you can review those in real time.
All right.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Commissioner Edie. Any other questions of staff? Okay. Being that there are none, if the applicant is here, we can go ahead and let the applicant do her presentation.
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm Tyrell, and we are passionate about opening this personal care home, and we wanted to make sure that we went through the proper channels before doing anything further. We have acquired the home. It's currently empty. So we want to go through the proper channels, making sure that we had the city, state approval before we did anything. We have done our checks, and like Mr. Wheeler said, we did not know, because it didn't come up on the state. We already checked. State board that there was anyone operational within the area. Secondly, we have met with the homeowners association. The president is
Mr. Senior.
Mr. Senior. They have already extended their welcome for us to be able to open it, in that they could see that we're passionate in doing what we do. I am a healthcare worker. I'm a licensed RN, licensed since 2004. I've been a healthcare worker since 1997. I'm licensed in Georgia since 2006, and I was licensed previously in Florida. I moved here in 2006. My wife, Judith, is currently a healthcare worker also. So between us, we have, I would say, probably 35 years of providing care for patients. Our goal is to provide the best care possible. We have been exposed and seen what goes on in personal care home, in nursing homes, within the hospital. I have worked within the hospital setting, and we want to provide the best care within the home and make it a home away from home for our residents.
In terms of rules.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Goldburn, correct?
Mr. Carty, C-A-R-T-Y.
Mr. Carty.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Carty, but let me tell you, but Miss Jody Ann Goldburn is.
That's me. So I've been doing most of the communication with Mr. Wheeler and Ms. Daniel as well. So I've been handling all the administrative aspects of our application.
Okay, so the applicant is you, Miss Jody.
Judith.
No. Okay, Judy Cater, okay. And you all are gonna be living in the home?
Yes.
Okay, all right, but not the young lady to the left.
No.
I wanted to, but no.
Okay, okay. All right.
In terms of structure, I'm gonna be the RN. He's gonna be the administrator, and Judith is gonna be the primary caregiver. So I'm gonna be available 24 hours to oversee our patients.
Okay. All right. Are there any other persons here that want to speak in favor of the applicant?
There's no
None?
one here.
Okay. All right, thank you. We can, let's go into any opposition. No opposition?
I don't have any
No.
comments.
Okay, all right. Commissioners, do we have any questions of the applicant? Any commissioners?
Yes, I have one question.
Commissioner Wright?
What type of residence are you seeking?
It will mainly be senior citizens, where families have elected that they cannot take care of their loved ones within their own home, and they don't want to place them in a nursing home because of the care that they have experienced with residents being in a nursing home. And our goal is to provide the best possible care in a home away from home.
Would you agree with the conditions that were presented by the city?
I don't know what the conditions are.
Okay, they're on the screen now. Can you see the good staff recommendations? Limited use of the personal care home, 4 persons.
We have seen it, and based on the square footage of the property, our goal is, I think if we have more than 3 residents in a home, it has to have central fire sprinkler installed. And we intend to do all of that to provide safety and care for our residents.
Okay, so you're saying that you're not amicable to deal with the recommendations about the city?
Yes, we are.
Okay, you are.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Commissioners, any other questions of the applicant? Okay, being that there are none, we're going to close the public hearing at this time. Thank you. And we're going to go into discussions with the commissioners. All right, thank you to the family.
Thank you.
All right, commissioners, you've heard the applicant, you've heard the city. We're open for discussion. Any discussion?
My discussion would be regarding condition number 1, the number of applicants. I would prefer to limit to 3.
Okay, commissioners, anybody want to speak on that? Or Commissioner Wright, why would you want to limit it to 3?
I guess when you think of home, when you think they have their families, so they would be residing in one. I guess that's how I looked at it. As I look at home, people having their own space because you want long-term residents and you want seniors. So I just viewed it as 3 versus the 4. So no one had to share a room. That was just my personal preference for how I viewed it since this is home.
Okay. Well, I know they went from the applicant from 6 to down to 4, saying they would be amicable for 4. Any other commissioners want to speak toward that? Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Wright, for yours. Anybody else, the commissioners, got any other discussion on the applicant? Commissioner Walker.
My only concern about this is why I don't understand why there's been several applicants that are not familiar with, not familiar with the conditions, you know, that these applications that's put on, you know, the application. It's like they're not that familiar. Is that, I mean, I don't know if that's a staff issue or if they're just not remembering. Look like to me that's very important that you know what the conditions are for approval.
Well, those are just recommendations. You know, they don't have to agree with the recommendations. They can say, no, I don't want to move forth with those recommendations. We want the 6 persons in the home, or we want the 4 persons without it. And that's their right to do that. The staff.
Well, I'm not so concerned with how many, how many people that's in the home as it is on when you pull up, if you pull up those conditions on there, back on the one that we're talking about now, they talk about the permits and all of that. And to me, you should already have done that, you know, show that you're in the process of getting it done.
Just to kind of chime in, so those conditions are essentially is window dressing. Most of those conditions are already stated in the zoning ordinance. Again, staff just puts it on there just to kind of nail it home, so that if there are any issues that come about regarding the application and things of that nature. Also, again, once they go through the process and applying for their permit, and they may not forget something or anything like that, again, it's clearly stated on their action letter or their ordinance that says, hey, you have to follow these rules and guidelines set forth in the zoning ordinance. So again, it's just to make it very clear and plain to them that, hey, even though you got approval, you still got to follow these rules and guidelines for you to operate. That's pretty much it. Again, it's just standard, or I should say boilerplate material that's set forth in the zoning ordinance that you just have to follow, period. If you don't follow it, then you just won't be approved. So, I mean, you won't be able to operate. I mean, even if you got approval, you still just won't be able to operate. You'll be not in compliance with the zoning ordinance. Also, anytime we just want you guys to be wary of, anytime you make a recommendation or anything like that, give the reasoning why to why is that, so we can get it clear on the record for Ms. Lillian.
And I have a question just about basic. Who is the owner, and is the application stated correctly for this slump?
The owner will be Judith Goldburn. So she's the owner and the applicant. Mr. Will is just familiar with me because we've been communicating back and forth via email in discussion with the application. And also, if I can address because I'm not sure what happened with the resident information, but based on the state requirements, there are 3 rooms which would be used for 3 residents, and our master bedroom is large enough to share for 2 residents who would prefer a shared room. So that's where, I mean, we always had it in our minds that maximum we could have 5, and there'd still be an area for whatever caregivers on site at time to have to themselves, just to clear up that confusion.
Okay, thank you.
And further, let me just state that we are aware of the state requirements in terms of the square footage and how many residents you have within the home. With 5 residents or anything above 3 would require a central fire sprinkler system.
Right.
We are aware of all of that.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I think Commissioner Hollis had a question. Well, we're not with you all. We're back in discussion, but thank you all. Commissioner Hollis is doing a discussion.
Yes. So you will not occupy the resident. You will, you live someplace else?
No.
We have another room for herself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's like a bonus room, but because there's no closet, we think we'll take it.
Okay. Okay.
We would not be sharing any room with the residents. We'll have our own private room.
Okay, so you will be living at the residence.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Hollis. Commissioners, any other discussion?
I'd like to just mention about the sprinkler system that he mentioned. If we do approve that, we should add that requirement since he's going for 4.
Okay, I think that the Commissioner,
That requirement is
Mr.
already
Wheeler put that on there. Yeah.
Yeah, that requirement is already required by the state, and the DeKalb County Fire will not sign off on any business license with 4 more residents when it comes to a personal care home. The fire marshal has made it very clear to the city that they will not sign off on any business license without the fire sprinkler installed. So I can attest that that's the number one thing that we run into when it comes to personal care homes for 3 or more. That they are looking for us to sign off on their business license, but we can't do anything is because the fire marshal has not signed off on it because mainly it's because of the sprinklers. They will not, because it's a life safety issue, they will not proceed at any point in time without that being installed correctly.
Commissioners, I just wanted to, I know for personal care homes, there are a lot of different permits and different requirements. And so there's the state requirement, which is focused on health and sort of like the interior conditions of the building. Mr. Wheeler mentioned the fire requirements, which is focused on life safety. There's also building requirements focused on life safety. What's before you all today are the zoning requirements, so the use of the land. So those, while they're all intertwined, and so they cannot operate without all of those permits. What's before you all is the zoning and the use of it. And so that's what you all are approving today. So while things like the sprinklers are important, how many people are in each room are important, that's not what's before you all today. What's before you all today is the zoning. So is this use appropriate? Is this use appropriate for the area? And then in relation to the number of people, is that number maybe too intense of a use and you want to cut it down, which is Mr. Wheeler's recommendation. I think the applicant asked for 6. Mr. Wheeler recommended 4. And that is based upon the intensity and the density of the use. And so while you all are, of course, free to ask those questions for clarification, I just want to be clear that when we're approving SLUPs, you're all to look at the A through S requirements, and those are all centered around land use. And so.
Thank you, Counselor. And with that being said, I would like to make a motion that we approve the SLUP to operate personal care home up to 4 persons with the recommendations of the staff.
I'll second that motion with the conditions.
Thank you, Mr. Edie. So it's a motion and a second by Commissioner Edie. All in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Let us show that it has passed unanimously for approval with the conditions. Thank you to the family. And now we can go toward.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Wheeler, we're ready to go to the adoption of the 2021 Planning Commission meeting schedule? Or is
Yes.
Ms. Lowe gonna handle it? Or
so the only thing I was going to say is Miss Lillian Lowe has diligently worked on doing a draft of next year's Planning Commission meetings. She should submit to you guys in your packet. We would like you guys to take a look at it. If you have not already, take a look and let us know if you are in agreement with those dates. If you do have any comments or anything such as you'd like to change the date or here or there and so forth. So we would like to go ahead and establish the dates already for next year.
okay, I think that everything is the first Tuesday of the month, except for the election next year, November the 2nd. So we're gonna do it on that Wednesday. In my opinion, it looks good to me. What about commissioners?
Well, I looked over everything, I mean, and it looks good to me. But I just said that Wednesday's meetings, we should not have on a Wednesday meeting because of some of the people are Bible study and so forth. I mean,
Yeah.
because that's always a problem with me as far as Bible study on Wednesday.
Mhm. So I wondered, well, I mean, this is a time to talk about it. We could propose that we do the November meeting, November the 9th. That second Tuesday. That'll be, that could, I'm sure we want to probably try to earn this out now, that we want to stay consistent with Tuesdays because the second is the election. And we know everyone will be busy voting and getting ready for the next administration.
Yay.
Yeah.
That, I mean, the 9th could work. I mean, that's still enough time for us to get whatever application to the city council to be heard in that month as well. So 9th could work for staff to get everything out.
Okay.
I don't think that far out, so I'm good with whatever everybody agrees on.
Okay.
And I don't have mine in front of me, so can someone answer? I don't know where to print out what. Did we take into consideration the July 4th? Is that one, that meeting
Yeah.
okay?
Well, yeah, that's July 6th. It's the first Tuesday in July.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're missing every holiday with the schedule.
Okay.
Okay. So Mr. Wheeler and Ms. Lowe, if we could do November the 9th, then it seems like we're all on one accord with the calendar.
Okay. All right, so instead of November, so instead of November 2nd, we like to have the planning commission meeting at November 9th, Tuesday, November 9th, 2021.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All
Do
right.
we need to make a motion or no?
Yes, please make a motion with that correction.
Make a motion that we accept the 2021 Planning Commission meeting schedule, except that it's adjusted for November 9th instead of November 2nd.
I second that motion.
Okay, it's been moved in second. All in favor, vote by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? It's unanimous that we all are in agreement with the 2021 Planning Commission meeting schedule with the correction of November 9th for the month of November. Okay.
Commissioners, I'm going to go ahead and stop recording. There's a conversation I need to have with you guys that doesn't need to be televised. So let me stop this really quick.
Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and move to adjourn and we'll stay on. So I move that we adjourn. All in favor?
I second it.
Second, aye.
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 That's unanimous. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You have a good night and be safe. Commissioners will hang on to the line.